The Dub Feed. Variety. Hour. Enjoy the show.
Welcome back to this quick Dub Feet Variety Hour. It has been a minute since I've posted anything, so just to further clarify anything, or everything, to clarify everything, I've been sleeping for several months. Just like the grandpa in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Okay, that's a lie. I guess you could kind of add a combination of just being busy, being tired, being depressed, which comes and goes during this beautiful pandemic. I didn't really have the motivation to jump on here and create another pod. So, granted, there's other factors in place. My right-hand guy for most of these podcasts, Tom, he had twins. He birthed them himself. He carried them. No, that's actually a fib. His wife carried twins, and she gave birth in February. So there was a drop-off point of podcast from that point on until recently. So we actually did record 2 episodes not too long ago, probably about a week or so ago. So I'll be dropping those pretty soon. But I figured I'd provide a little context with a quick snippet here just to give you guys what's up, what's new, and what's happening in the world. So, yeah, what is going on? Not much. The Delta variant is kicking ass around everyone who is unvaccinated, and the fact that vaccinations have become a political issue is beyond me, and it makes no fucking sense. But whatever, like some people don't want to be vaccinated, but those same people need to understand they need to stay the fuck inside. I feel that's just common sense. They're making it like if it's a liberty that they're losing, it's like you lost liberties when you decided that it was okay to run and gallivant about during a pandemic, during a season of virus times that will literally kill you. But I digress, of course. What else is new? I got a nice little kitten. I'm unaware of whether or not they are a male or female. So the 2 main winning names, and it might actually be 3 now. The 2 main names is Catherine Zeta-Jones, emphasis on cat. But also the notion of how much this cat loves feet, it could also be Tarantino. Drop the Quentin, just leave on the Tarantino. That might be the name. Maybe the name could be Trevor Moore. And y'all might wonder why that name comes to mind. And with a heavy heart, it is hard to say, but Trevor Moore is no longer with us. The genius that brought us The Whitest Kids You Know, and some of the founding comedy that I would daily binge during high school and after, Trevor Moore founded The Whitest Kids You Know. At this point in my life, I had not been a beginner to sketch comedy. Saturday Night Live was always cracking me up. Mad TV more so, but I discovered Kids in the Hall. And, of course, if I had not watched any of these shows and not grasped the concept of sketch comedy and how many roles a small troupe or a group of individuals create stuff, I probably would have just gone, this just looks like some stupid comedy show on IFC. But The Whitest Kids You Know was probably one of the most funniest sketch comedy shows to ever have been made. The timing, the jokes, the comedy, the acting, everything. And it reminded me of Kids in the Hall. I think that was another reason why I jumped on it, because there you have dudes playing chicks and what have. So it always entertained, and yeah, I'll be honest. I woke up from a 3-hour nap yesterday, and I awoke to a text message about him passing away, and I was just like, nah, this is bullshit. This is The Onion. This is hardtimes.net. But lo and behold, it turns out this was a factual death, and it's unfortunate. We lose a lot of funny. But one thing that always cracked me up is anytime he posts anything, you could never tell if he was being serious or joking. So he was one of those that it seemed like he was always on. And unfortunately, somebody brought to light, he made a post about his son and wife, and I guess it was just like his reflection of turning 40. And he wrote in it himself. He's just like, this is me taking a break from the funny for a moment to just reflect on what a great life I've had. It's something that he has to reflect upon in his life. So it's good to know that he was in a peaceful and good place upon passing. So perspective is important with that. Yeah, I mean, if you guys are unfamiliar with Trevor Moore and the Whitest Kids You Know, just jump onto YouTube, Google anything Trevor Moore, and it'll crack you up. I guess some of the highlights would be poop at a meeting. There's another skit about somebody doing the jerk-off motion and the way that it's portrayed in it and how awkward and great and responsive it is. It's worth your time. Christian Shaw shared it on Twitter, and it instantly reminded me of how brilliant these guys are. And it just shows, I'm bummed that Trevor Moore is no longer with us. And rest in peace to a legend, simply put. Speaking of sketch comedy, I guess on a slightly less downer note, I've been watching a lot of Impractical Jokers, and they are pretty much a troupe of, impractical comedians, but they're actually a group of improv comedians. Very similar story to many of the troupes that have come along and blessed us with some golden comedy. It was one of those shows I kind of avoided because it was just heavily advertised and everywhere, and I'm like, all right, let's give it a rest, guys. It can't be that good. And simply put, it's like Jackass meets Punk'd. Not as heavy as Jackass and pretty similar to Punk'd, but still managing to run on this different luster because they're all buddies, they're all best friends since high school, and it cracks me up pretty much. It's become a comfort show as many shows have come and gone during the pandemic as a comfort show. It has reigned supreme lately in the past months or so. So that is what I've been doing as of late. Other than that, it has been a whole lot of nothing. A lot of hangouts, a lot of staying in. There was a brief period in this pandemic where things seemed to be okay, and now we're kind of headed back towards a point where things might not be okay. There was a reduction, but I mean, as I noted when I had followed all the maps and showed all the trajectories of cases going up and down, once I started to see the unvaccinated uprise of idiots, I realized this fucking thing is not going to be over for quite some time. So it just seemed like we were overdue for a spike. Unfortunately, as dark and fucked up as that sounds, it just seemed like we were overdue for a rise in some bullshit coming soon. But what are you going to do? You got to stay safe, wash your hands, limit your social interactions, and or limit them with people that are vaccinated. And don't listen to fucking anti-vax moronic people like Marjorie Taylor fuckface, whatever the cock and balls name she has, any other of these dumb fucks. Do what you feel best. You don't have to follow every little notion to what the government tells you. I understand being fearful of government because that's, tale as old as time. Of course the government is surrounded and they're fully, deeply dived into levels of bullshit. However, it is pertinent to make sure you're healthy and you're not causing any issues related to this virus, carrying on more bullshit that's going to keep this virus going forever. Look out for yourself, but my brother-in-law posted something on social media pretty much saying, like, we all need a break from social interaction and going out. Save that trip to the club that you don't need to fucking go to because that is a potential super spreader. So it's time to reacclimate to your body, your soul, and your mind, and it is time to reflect more so on yourself than everything else going on in the world. Of all the things that need to be done, there needs to be a lot more self-reflection within people, and that is just a fact. On that note, I can point out that in terms of self-help and mental stability, I have been trying to work out more. That is something that I have been doing. Been doing a little tennis against the handball court. That's one thing. The other thing I do is Wii Fitness. No, I'm sorry, not Wii Fitness. It's Nintendo Switch Fitness, which is the successor of Wii Fitness. So I have a Nintendo Switch boxing that helps me get rid of calories. I say that as I'm drinking a Spritzer Bomb, brought to you by 6 Point, 8.0 alcohol by volume. Enjoy responsibly or enjoy in your home as irresponsible as you like. That's good beer. So yeah, I got a little black cat here. She has been pretty tame. She does like to bite, as all cats do. And I say she like if I know for a fact that she's a woman when I believe there are balls there. She's all black, so that doesn't help in the narrowing down of whether or not she's a boy or a girl. The black hair kind of hides junk. As of current, she's staring at my cans that are empty sitting in my recycling bin, and she's hunting for something, but I'm not quite sure what. Could it be a bug? Or could it just be a funny color that's getting her attention? She does some weird shit, but that's typical of babies and kittens. So she is technically a kitten. But she is cute as hell. She's cuddly. And I think she don't hate me much. She comes and she chills with me. It could be the snacks and whatnot I provide her, but at the same time, I think we got a little bond, and I'll take it. This apartment was getting quiet and lonely. My roommate has still been out upstate, and not that his company was good company. It was just company nonetheless, that you're not in a empty room, empty apartment, empty cubicle of space. So it's nice to have something prancing around here and providing some cuddles on occasion. What else is going on? I think it is time for me and Tom to gear back up and get something filming. As I mentioned before, we took a break from this podcast. I mean, he's busy raising 2 kids. They are, I believe, past 6 months now. They're getting so big, and it's mind blowing how quickly babies grow. So they're like little cutie pies developing personalities, and they're at 6 months and slowly developing what it can only be even more layers of personality and intrigue and whatnot. So it's quite a journey that I'm so happy for Taylor and Tom for that. So very exciting. I was gonna say, God damn it. Oh yeah, we want to film things. It's kind of umbrella termed, but not umbrella termed. Umbrella, like overall, very vague. But we definitely need to finish Detective Stewart. Detective Stewart needs to be brought to a close, or at least brought to this saga that we've provided during the pandemic needs to be closed. I guess I just need to honorably mention some shows and some things that I've been watching. I watched How To with John Wilson, which was probably one of the most brilliant docu-style shows. It invokes Koyaanisqatsi, I believe is the name of the documentary that comes to mind when I'm watching it. I'm going to confirm that right now with Google. Philip Glass does the soundtrack for that, but I'm going to pull it up here anyway. It's Koyaanisqatsi. It pretty much sounds like that, but it's a lot of actuality footage, a lot of what seems like time lapse and just random pieces of time, but it's just so gorgeously filmed and just brilliantly complemented by Philip Glass's his music. So, but anyways, John Wilson, he's just a dude walking around trying to figure out simple things like how to pretty much cover your furniture, how to talk, how to communicate with people. But the way it unfolds, it always takes like a hard left or a hard right into crazy territory that still somehow ties into the overall that he's trying to, show us. So it is a great, quick HBO series. Every episode is 30 minutes long. And they, excuse me, drinking the beer, and the beer's coming back. And they all pretty much, they wrap around just brilliantly in terms of explaining things. But the main point that I wanted to take away from that is the final episode pretty much becomes live with the pandemic. So the pandemic bleeds into the last episode. So he's showing like people disappearing. Then he shows the scariness of the pandemic. I don't want to give too much away because it's just brilliant. But it is just brilliantly put together. And because of that, it reminds me of another show that ties right into the pandemic. And that is the special that Bo Burnham released on Netflix called Inside. Inside is nothing but sheer brilliance from the first moment to the last moment, for the mini skits in it to every earworm, catchy, brilliant tune that is provided in it. Songs have been literally stuck in my head for months because of it, and I'm not even complaining. On an alternative basis, one song will be stuck, then a line from another song will be stuck, then this line will be stuck, and it is just the fact that he put it all together in his bedroom. I'm sorry, not his bedroom, in his like living room, in his living space during the pandemic. He crafted something so simple but so brilliant, but so smart, so layered, and it is. I mean, I can't even put words together on how good it was, but I can watch it over and over again. It's like comfort, but it's also sad because it is relatable to what many of us felt as we were going through this chaos that is the pandemic. And then side note, it ain't over yet. We're still in it. We're still going through it. A lot of people think it's over and they're just going about life as is, but that's not the case. But anyways, it touched on a lot of feelings that everybody and anybody has felt during this pandemic. So I can not highly recommend this. I cannot recommend this any more than I've already recommended it 6,000 times because I can't stop recommending it. Highly recommended. Take time to watch it. How To with John Wilson. Inside by Bo Burnham. What else have I watched? I tried watching Omega Man, and I got through part of it. And the reason I watch it is because there's a great Simpsons Treehouse of Horror skit based around this movie in its entirety. And I got through about, I want to say 30, 40 minutes of it. And God, was it boring. God, was it sort of like hammed together. And you could tell it was kind of sort of like, it was like a 70s vibed film. So like you watch certain movies from the 70s and you get like the feel of it. You get like, just like watching a movie from the 90s, you get like sort of the vibe from it. So I got to a certain point and I'm like, this is kind of fucking corny. This is kind of boring. And the zombies are kind of lackluster. The acting is meh. Charlton Heston, he's a great actor, so he was selling it. But the story didn't really go anywhere from what I watched. And it just didn't pan out enough for me to stay on board. So I kind of bailed. I usually don't bail on movies, but this one I was like, either I'm going to take time to watch it later or I'll just bail now and continue watching Impractical Jokers or reruns of Futurama, which is exactly what I did. So I did that instead. I did watch this film called Mandibles, which is a French film, topping in at about an hour and 12 minutes, I believe. Very short movie, very quick, short, sweet, simple, hilarious. The internet referred to it as a French Dumb and Dumber. I felt like it was a combination of The Big Lebowski meets Dumb and Dumber meets The Fly, which is a lot what critics said it was very much like The Fly. But it's pretty much a movie about like two nitwits. They have to deliver a briefcase. And in the midst of trying to deliver this briefcase, one of the guys steals a car, and within the back seat or the trunk of the car, there's a oversized, like pet-sized fly in there. And rather than like going to take this fly to the authorities, they start thinking of let's turn this into a get-rich-quick scheme. We'll train it to rob banks, and we'll make it our own. And then the movie ensues from there. Highly recommended. Very stupid, very funny, very quick. The young lady from Blue is the Warmest Color is in it, and she plays she got injured in a skating accident, so she always talks with the high pitch, like it sounds like she's yelling always. So there's a lot of little quirky notions like that within it that just make it so fucking stupid, but so fucking hilarious. It really, it sort of like shined this it shined like a Farrelly Brothers-esque type of vibe to it, which is highly worthy if you're into that sort of comedic sound vibe, etc. I'd recommend that one. What else have I watched? I'm trying to think. I feel like I watched something that was worthy of the impact in this time. I haven't watched any TV other than Impractical Jokers. Can I go on my Amazon Prime? Jeffrey Bezos. There's a little snippet of the Bezos song, Inside by Bo Burnham. All right, let's take a look. I'm going in my my history here, so let's see if there's something that has stuck out that I've watched recently. Yeah, I mean, I've also just been binging Workaholics, which I binged mostly through and I just didn't finish it. So I finally picked it back up and I'm on, I believe, the second to last season. I started watching What is America, which was another great show by Sacha Baron Cohen. I honestly, and this is full disclosure between you guys and myself, I feel like it was better than Borat 2. It's just it's quirky. There's a lot more characters, and it just unfolds on a very ridiculous but entertaining level. I did watch The Pianist, and it devastated me. I will probably devastate myself by watching Schindler's List and just do a podcast of me just crying profusely for 45 minutes straight. No, but I feel like The Pianist and Schindler's List is probably a good parallel for an up-and-coming dub feat, which you guys should look forward to soon. The Pianist, obviously, I mentioned it briefly, but I haven't really talked about it much. But it's a devastatingly poignant film that just, it eats away at your heart from maybe the 15-20 minute mark. And it just gets sadder and sadder. And the delivery by Adrian Brody, I can't stress how good he was in this movie. There's just one line at the end that I have to mention, and he's just like, he confides in a random Nazi German soldier that doesn't kill him and has some compassion. Because any way you look at it, everybody wants to say every Nazi is an evil person, but some people were just, you're a soldier in a war. So he found and crossed paths with one of these guys. This soldier let him live, and to the point where, like, he was freezing, he was hungry. The guy provided him food. The guy provided him a lot. Provided him an actual jacket to wear. So when Adrian Brody's character finally gets rescued by Russians, they ask him, why is he wearing that German coat? And a beat passes. He looks at them. He's already, like, frail, and he just goes, I'm cold. The only thing he has to say, I'm cold. And the way he delivers it is so depressing. I remember he said I'm cold, and I'm just like, what the fuck, guys? Just leave him alone. He's fucking cold, okay? He's been through a lot. If you guys only knew. It is a brilliant film, and it is worth watching. And the 2 hours and 30 minutes, they don't drag, but they move at a pace that is you're absorbing a war. So it's a pace that is doled out to you slowly, but it is a very sad and heartbreaking story. It put me on to Vladislav Spillman's music, which is very beautifully scored, and he's a very brilliant talent, which is the character that the movie's based upon. I don't know if you guys have been watching Love, Death, and Robots, but they came back with a second season. It's an anthology animated series. Could not recommend it more. Every story is different. Every story is brilliant. Well, okay, maybe not every story. Some are kind of silly, but they all move quick. They all are very interesting and entertaining. So every single one is worth the time, at least for the animation specs, for many, 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 many layers as for why. So yeah, could not recommend any more. I did also binge Arrested Development for the umpteenth time, and it hit as it should. It was amazing. It was phenomenal. I did watch This Is a Robbery, which is a short, limited series about a robbery in Boston. It was a great story. It is a crazy story, and of course it involves the Irish mob. It's just, you can't have something going on in Boston without that carbon. So it is entertaining. Highly recommended as well. It moves quick, but it kind of drags a little bit towards the middle, but still it is a great moving flick. But yeah, anyways, not to digress too much, and I'm just rambling about all the stuff I've seen. Let me just add, I Think You Should Leave. I highly recommend that. I watched the first season 6,000 times. I'm still waiting to watch the second season. I don't know why I'm talking like I'm about to be cut off, but I think I just feel the tension to do so because I'm just rambling about movies now. Oh, and I also watched Mitchells and the Machines. It was entertaining, and it also ties up to the it's like, okay, that's enough. I'm kidding. Mitchell and the Machines was entertaining. It very much is like, it's like an end of the world sort of robots rise up vibe, but it also seems to sort of mend a gap of generations within the film because it ties into, like, I feel like there's certain films that end up catering to, millennials, Generation X, et cetera, and this one finally sort of bridged the gap between the two, and it shows, the age gap between parents and their children and how children are not always seen as normal people to their parents, but they're always looking for affection and love from their parents. So it is a great animated flick that is on Netflix. It's a Netflix exclusive, and I could not recommend it more. You're graced by the great voices of Danny McBride, Abby Jacobson, Maya Rudolph, and that's just a few off the top. Eric Andre is one of the characters, Fred Armisen, John Legend, Chrissy Teigen, Blake Griffin, Conan O'Brien. You don't need to hear all of them. Take a moment, watch it, enjoy it. I think that'll just wrap it up, because I feel like at this point I'm probably just rambling to you guys. But I just wanted to say, hey guys, I miss you. I need to get back and do this. This feels pretty good. I'm not stuttering 6,000 times. Usually I'm like, I got to pause it twice. I got to pause it 3 times. I got to reread my notes. I got to pull up my laptop. So I just wanted to just jump in here real quick and touch base before I drop some new content on you. Hope everybody is well. If you're not, you know where to reach me. Shoot me an email, shoot me a text. We could hash this shit out. We could talk a little bit, or we don't have to talk at all. We could sit in awkward silence and just respect the notion of two bodies being in a place acknowledging the chaos that this world is in. So, on that note, this has been an update on the Dub Feet Variety Hour podcast. See you guys soon.